show for y'all. Well, maybe not all, but it is designed to train, motivate, and encourage. And we welcome everyone to the call this morning. When you're here, you're trying to get some training, trying to get some encouragement, trying to get something. We hope you get one of that. But when you get it, we hope you get all excited and make today the biggest day you've ever had in the history of sales. Make some noise if you concur.
Go, go, go,
Yes,
go!
sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Let's
sir.
go.
Yes, let's go.
I concur, Doctor.
Thank you. I got a little Leonardo DiCaprio this morning just to get the morning started. James concurs. What is the secret of success? You've heard some of the secrets. They're not really secrets here at SLS because if you're paying attention on a call, they'll tell you what to do. Here's one of them. If you have any birthday leads, make sure you call them. Even if you're brand new. Only got two, Henry. That's all right. Two is enough. Make sure that you stay in communication with your clients. Chris Reese told you, we've told you, you might have some other philosophy in your head. I don't want to call them. I already know they don't need anything, blah, blah, blah. That type of thinking is why you end up doing 3 or 4 policy reviews with your client for 3 or 4 different companies for policies sold by 3 or 4 different agents, because the very first agent that sold that client didn't stay in touch with them, whether they work at SLS or whether they work someplace else. That very first client, very first agent sold them. So they're sold. They're never going to need any more insurance. Another agent came behind that agent and didn't even do a policy review. They didn't even know that client had existing coverage, and they sold them again. Then another agent came behind that agent and said, you know what? This person needs some insurance. So each agent looked at that client as a new client, and then they sold them another policy. What if the very first agent 10 years ago that sold that very first policy stayed in touch with that client? Well, guess what? That same agent would have 4 different policies, and they'd be collecting 4 different renewals, all from the same client. Make sense? So your client,
Right.
you basically want to be, it's like a good husband is a husband and a boyfriend to his wife.
Go,
like-
Henry.
It's like two different guys, but they're the same guy. So when you're an agent, a good agent is the same agent over and over again. You just keep coming back, right? These birthday leads, if you haven't worked them yet, work them. And then when you do work them and you work them efficiently, guess what? There's a whole cornucopia of other leads that you can get to, of folks that you can sell, because the orphan birthday lead program is the true truth, but everybody can't get in. In order to qualify to get into that program, you got to be with the agency for a little bit, you got to have a little bit of tenure. You also have to have very good quality, and you have to be known for moving slow and ethically with your clients, making sure that you have ethical replacements if needed, and more importantly, ethical additions. So this would be a good week, since it's a contest week anyway. Why not take this week and talk to people that are already familiar with you, already like you, and have already bought from you? And then once you get a chance to talk to all those people, you have a chance to talk to people who already like the agency. Sometimes they've been liking the agency for 10, 12, 15 years. They are already clients, already have demonstrated that they're willing to buy because they bought in the past. Some of them have existing policies. Some of them have policies that need to put back on the books. All of them know at least one person that can use some insurance. Every single client that you talk to, whatever campaign that they're in, I hope you guys were paying attention when Chris was giving her day. Birthday leads are really important, but she also said, yeah, I got to call back. Brother needs some, cousin needs some. I forget the familial ties, but there were other people connected there that also needed some insurance, because when you're talking to a client, there's always 2 groups of people that you want to remind them of. So you want to remind them of the people who might be telling them that they need insurance. So your client's like, yeah, I was talking to my brother. He said that he might need some. You should give him a call. But then just like in your client's life, it's the same thing as in your life. Right now, you know some people around you that need insurance and they need to pay for it. So you might say, hey, you know, my mom, she really needs some insurance. She's on Social Security. You should give her a call. But then we all have some people in our life, God forbid, if they were to pass, you would end up paying for that funeral or contributing towards that funeral. It's just the nature of life. Brother, cousin, there's somebody in your world that's close enough to you that God forbid if they pass, you'd feel obligated to do something. I got to chip in on that, or you got to pay for the whole service. So these are people that you need to take a policy out on. And it's the same thing with your client. There's some people that they need to say, call my cousin. He needs to get a policy for himself. Then there's others that are like, you know what? How does this work? Because I probably need to get a policy on my cousin because he's not going to do what he's supposed to do, or she's not going to do what she's supposed to do. But I know it's going to end up falling back on me. That is why it's really actually pretty easy to sell insurance. I know when you have, 1 hour of talk time and no sales yesterday, you're like, it sure doesn't feel easy to sell insurance. But that's just because we are approaching the day the wrong way. If you approach this business like making a sale is a monumental task, and it requires, that you wake up in the morning and eat a bowl of Lucky Charms, go to the store, buy a 4-leaf clover, and then walk around with rabbit's feet hanging off your ears. If you think this business is about luck, well, it can be tough. Because you can't really control luck. It's like good luck, bad luck. It's like this external thing, this other force that's controlling your life. But when you approach this business like what it really is, it's really easy. You've heard the expression, work this business like a job and get paid like a boss. Now you may wonder, well, what does that mean? QT is a gas station, and we got a bunch of them in Atlanta. Wherever you are, you got a gas station too. Maybe it's a Wawa, maybe it's a racetrack. I don't know. You got gas stations. But I'll tell you what's not happening at the gas station this morning. There's not a meeting where somebody's saying, good morning and welcome to QT. Give it up for Billy yesterday. He was working the register. Give it up for Susie. She swept out the area in the front lobby. That's not taking place. How do I know? Because I used to work at QT back in the day. When I was building my business, I was working 3 different jobs. It was not in the insurance industry. I was doing something in the IT field. Story from another day. I used to work nights at QT, so I know exactly what's taking place at QT right now. Why? Because when we woke up and we did our QT stuff and we made hot dogs and cleaned up and got the pumps clean and cleaned up the restrooms, we were just doing our job. We were doing what was expected of us. We were doing what we expected of ourselves. And I used to make $40,000 at night working at QT. Well, I was building my business and I was efficient because I'm a thorough guy. And my parents taught me to work hard, collect a paycheck, and go on about your life. If you're going to work, any job worth doing is worth doing it, right? All that stuff that all of our parents taught us. And I didn't expect special recognition for doing my job. I didn't need a motivational meeting. So you might say, well, why do we need so much motivation when we're in the sales world? And that's because we tend to view adversity differently when we are in sales. Now, when I was working at QT, I was facing adversity. I just didn't call it that. I didn't view it that way because I'm like, well, this is what they paid me to do. For instance, when I was working at QT, it was our job to clean the bathrooms. It's really a form of adversity. Like inevitably, every day, somebody was going to do something in the bathroom they weren't supposed to do. And it would take me off. I'm like, oh, here we go again. Clean up on aisle 7, right? So, but that's a form of adversity. But got to do it. Somebody would spill something. Inevitably, somebody would drop a glass of soda every night or something. I'm going to go clean that up. Inevitably, somebody brings stuff up and I forgot my wallet or whatever, which really, did you really forget your wallet? Probably didn't. But then you got to take all this stuff, back off the credit, rerun it. There's always stuff that takes place in everybody's line of work that you don't like to do, but we tend to think, well, that's what I get paid to do, and you're going about your business. Sales is the same. There's going to be stuff you don't like. Raise your hand if you like to dial the phone and nobody picks up. Of course you don't. It's not our favorite thing to do. Raise your hand if you like it when somebody picks up the phone and they're rude. Of course you don't. But it's just part of it. Because what you learn is just like when I was working at QT, every hour that I was working brought me closer to quitting time. So typically when we're on the job, that's how our brain is wired. Sometimes you'll talk to you at the grocery store or something like that. And if the person's kind of friendly, you'll be talking to them and they'll say, I'm almost out of here. You ever have somebody say that? How you doing? I'm doing fine. I'm off in 2 hours, because that's the reward. The reward is to get off. And so sometimes in our sales brains, we think the same way. We get a sale, and what does our brain tell us? Woo, quitting time. Right? My job was to get a sale. I got a sale. I'm out of here. But we have to reverse the way that we think. To unlock income potential, we have to reverse the way that we think in a couple of areas. But once you do it, it makes this business really, really easy. So for example, a lot of you had sales yesterday. And if you go and check your call time, you started kind of late, then you got a sale. Then we look at your call activity after your sale, and guess what we find? Who wants to take a guess?
It dips.
Woo! All right, got that sale. It doesn't matter if the sale is 500 of annualized premium or 5,000 of annualized premium. As soon as we get a sale, many of our brains are telling us mission accomplished, pack it up, pack it in as I begin, right? Just out of here. Now, then there's another psychology that you can see on the phones, where some of you, if that sale doesn't happen in your first 3 hours on the phone, guess what your brain tells you? Same thing, quick time. We're out of here. Not my day. Not going to happen. All right. If it was meant for me, it would have taken place. We start saying all this crazy stuff in our head. Work your business like a job, get paid like a boss. What does that really mean? What it means is the mission is accomplished not when the clock tells you to quit, not when success tells you to quit. Had a sale, I'm out of here. Not when a lack of success tells you to quit. Oh, I didn't have a sale, I'm out of here. When is the day over? Who knows?
Boss tells you it's over.
Say again?
When the boss tells you it's over.
There you go. So who's the boss? You're the boss. You're self-employed. So we said it yesterday, and many of you did it. But there's something that we really want you to focus on today to teach you a lesson. Because once you learn this lesson, you won't make $100,000 a year. You'll make $3 million. Anybody interested in the lesson? Forget 100. 100 is the floor. When you figure this out, you're not going to make 100,000. You're going to make 173, 212, 296. When you figure this out, here it is. It's been right in front of you the whole time. It's like the Wizard of Oz. Remember, Dorothy got to the end. How mad would you have been for anybody that remembers the Wizard of Oz if you went through all those flying monkeys and poppy fields, and you get to the end, everybody says, well, all you do is click your heels 3 times. Like, really? You could have told me that a couple hours ago. But it was in front of you all the time. Here's the 3-heel click. So simple. 6 PECs per day. A minimum of 6 PECs per day. Now we know PEC stands for pre-enrollment conversation. That's what it stands for. But what is a PEC? Who remembers what is a PEC? Wendy knows.
Enrollment conversation.
That's what it stands for. What is it though?
Going through the entire pre-enrollment conversation with all decision makers present.
There you go. A complete explanation of our program from beginning to end, explaining all the benefits of the program, including an offer to a response to our offer of insurance. So you got to ask them, do you want insurance or not? They got to say yes or no. You got to ask for referrals. They got to say yes or no. And it's got to take place in the presence of all relevant decision makers. If you do that 6 times, it's going to fix your talk time issues. It's going to fix your referral issues. It's going to fix everything. Because if you're doing that, not only are you going to get your talk time, you're going to get your sales, and you're going to get easier talk time, because now instead of just talking to leads only, you're talking to leads and you're talking to referrals made by those leads. And all of a sudden you're doing 5,000 a day consistently. Say it again. All of a sudden you're doing 5,000 a day consistently. Why? Because these clients have money and they need insurance. They have money? No, they don't, Henry. They're on a fixed income. Well, all I know is there's a $1 billion company that looked at this market, and they have a lot more money than we do. And they're even been in business longer than us. And this multi-billion-dollar company, they looked at this demographic, and you know what they decided? We're not selling enough insurance. We're only offering a $50,000 death benefit, but these folks can afford twice that. Who's that carrier?
Transamerica.
Yep, Transamerica said, Transamerica didn't say, all of these people are broke. We need to lower our death benefit. Nobody's buying at the $50,000 level. This is a waste of resources. They said, man, people are getting to 50 and they can afford twice as much. People are leaving us and they're going to get insurance someplace else because they would buy 80 if we had it. They would buy 100 if we had it, but we're hitting the ceiling at 50 and we're losing money. So are these people broke or not? They're not broke. If a company does a market study and they're like, man, we're losing it, and they don't go up to 75, they don't go up to 80, they go to 100. Like, man, we're maxed out at 50, and people are, so they're not broke. I've been preaching this for years because I know it. I've done my own market study. These people are not broke. Now they might sell you that they're broke because they've been on the earth for 6 decades and they're good at crying broke. They're good at pretending to be broke, but the casinos know they're not. Right? Go to Biloxi and see who's coming out of those buses. QVC knows they're not broke. How is QVC even on TV all these years? It's not 22-year-olds buying the ceramic angels. There's a lot of industries that they know they're not broke, and they do very, very well. And you happen to be a person that has a store that sells a product that's very popular among this demographic. Grandparents are grandparents. Grandparents drive Christmas, in case you haven't figured that out. Xboxes and Jordans and everything else. Grandparents, you have the right conversation with the right grandparent about leaving some money behind for their grandkids, and you'll sell twice as much insurance right now. But the key is that we're not having enough conversations. And that's really what this talk time thing is all about. So yesterday was pretty good. Matter of fact, give yourselves a round of applause for yesterday's efforts. Yay.
Yay!
All right. However, remember, they're not clapping for themselves at QT right now. At QT, they're like just putting on their QT hat, like, hey, we go to work. Put on your hat. Put on your SLS hat today and just go to work. Don't let this be some magical, fantastical thing that you're doing. All you're going to do is get off of this break, get out of here, go to your breakout room, put on your headset, lock in, and go to work. And what's the job? Who remembers the job?
6 PECs.
6 PECs. That's the job. I'm gonna call and dial as much as I need to have as many conversations as I need to have 6 good, quality, meaningful conversations. I'm going to call my SBC. If they come, great. If not, I'm not going to get an attitude. I called my SBC and they didn't pick up. I'm not going to do that because I've got the PEC. I don't really need my SBC. The SBC is great to have when they're available, but I don't need them because your real SBC is SLSU and the PEC because it gives you all the words to say. And then I want you to write a very boring 5,000 of AP today. A very boring 5, 6, 7, very boring. I mean, I'm supposed to get 7,000. It's my job. It's what I do, right? Because I follow the PEC. I don't get off the phone because I made a sale. That's what rookies do. Ooh, I got a sale. I'm out of here. I don't get off the phone because I'm sad. That's what rookies do. Oh, I didn't make a sale. I'm out of here. I'm going to start my day and I'm going to work 6 PECs. And if it takes me 8 hours or 9 or 10 or 15 or 16, I'm going to work as long as it takes to get my 6 PECs. If I don't want to work a long day, I'm going to dial faster. Right now, if I sit there and lollygag all day, I might be here 18 hours. If I dial efficiently, like I'm supposed to, then my day will be shorter. But I'm going to work a very businesslike, a very professional 6 PECs, and I'm going to ask for referrals every single time. And I'm going to call those referrals when I get them. And I'm going to show up tomorrow, lunch pail empty with 6 PECs. Think you can do it? Well, we're about to find out. If you think you can go into a breakout room and take care of business, be self-disciplined. I'm self-employed, but I'm self-disciplined. I'm going to work efficiently. I'm going to dial fast. And I'm going to stay on this phone until I have 6 PECs. And I'm going to show up tomorrow with minimum 5K, a very business-like minimum 5K. And we'll celebrate because it's fun to celebrate, but I'm going to do it business as usual. If you think you can pull that off, then when I get to 1, I want you to say no excuse, no results count, because a lot of you say the more believe it, the more you believe it, the more you sell. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
No excuses, only results count.
No excuses, only results count.
These guys are gonna
Thank
clear
you.
up.
Good luck,
Yeah,
everybody.
On a
day,
happy
baby.
face.
This business
Have a
is
great day. God bless you, everyone.
God bless everybody. Yes.